Hi, I'm Brian.
Oh, and I'm Bruce.
Yeah, he couldn't even remember his own name. That's incredible. No, this is Just Beneath the Surface, and this is our second episode.
Episode 2.
We're kicking off the new year, and just as kind of a reminder to some of you who maybe if you didn't see the first episode, and really quickly...
All 400 billion that live on the planet.
We do want to thank the 7 of you who have subscribed to our YouTube channel. Just
and 2 of them are right here.
2 of them right here. Actually, everyone's in this house probably.
That's right, okay.
But this is a show that kind of looks at, well, first of all, we're big fans of The Twilight Zone.
Rod Serling.
Yes,
Serling.
Always have been. And we feel that a lot of the themes that he addressed back in the 1950s and 60s are they're timeless. They're relevant.
Iconic.
Exactly. And what we want to try to do here on this program is talk about current issues kind of in a general sense and how they relate to these themes.
Right, and how Serling and I guess Buck Houghton, who also wrote for the show for Twilight Zone, how their insight back in the, the late 50s, 60s with the shows, whatever, how that still applies today. Why? Because it applies to human nature.
And that never changes.
And that's right.
Plain and simple.
We won't go into what we think about human nature right now.
As the great Khan Noonien Singh once said in Star Trek, he said, Ricardo Montalban.
His name was Khan.
Khan Noonien Singh was his name. But
No.
when he came out of hibernation, he said, "I'm impressed that, technology is impressive. It's great, but I'm disappointed at how little man himself has changed."
Very
300
good.
years later.
That's a good quote, but you're wrong. He didn't come out of. He was taken out of hibernation by Kirk.
Well, that's true.
Because they questioned whether to bring him up. That's not what the show is about. Because he keeps getting off track. What's the show about, Brian?
This show is about, as we said, talking about current issues with the theme of addressing how issues presented in the Twilight Zone relate to today.
Right, and if you're a fan of the Twilight Zone, like we are, you should appreciate these things, and we're going to do our best to bring them forward to current events and that sort of thing.
It's good that you said that, Bruce. It's real good, because that's what we're going to be talking about in this episode.
It's real good. That's right. You be dead. You be dead. To the 3-headed squirrel. No, it wasn't a squirrel. What was it?
It was a 3-headed. I just made it go through with 3 heads.
That's right. That's right. That's a great episode, but we're not going to talk about that on this show.
We don't talk about the common ones. We talk about the ones that we like that, maybe don't make the top 10 best episode list. Ones that are hidden gems.
The 2 we're going to talk about today that relate to current events probably would be in the top, I'd say 20 or whatever. And the first is
The Obsolete Man.
Obsolete Man, Burgess Meredith.
Yes. A lot of people, when they think of Burgess Meredith in the Twilight Zone, they think of the one where he broke his glasses and he can't... Oh, spoiler.
Time enough for last.
I didn't mean to spoil the ending there for you.
What, some guy back in the 60s like me who thinks he's going to watch it now and go, oh, Jeff, I forgot the ending. Wow, that idiot Brian told me what... I don't think so.
But I think he did 4 episodes total over the course of the 5 years that show was on.
I'll give you the 4.
And I think this was the best one of the 4, in which it's a future society in which the state has taken control, and they will tell you, no, this is true, that's wrong, you have to believe us, and if you don't, you're obsolete.
There's one way or the highway.
And if you don't agree, then you're going to be liquidated.
Right, because you've now become obsolete. And the state has no use, not only for people who no longer fit in like a librarian, because in this society there are no more what?
No books.
There's no books. So why do you need a librarian?
Don't need them.
No books. But at the I think it's at the beginning, which is called the what? Prologue?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Or
an excellent saying, and I'll probably mess it up because I haven't written it down, which is, I believe, to a certain extent true today. But he says, logic is the enemy, truth is the menace. And that is, I think, to a certain extent, to relate it to current events, what I believe is happening today.
One could make that argument.
And how is that happening today, Brian? How did Serling back in the 60s, showing a show like The Obsolete Man? The other one, just to let you know real quick, is Eye of the Beholder with, what's her name for the Beverly Hillbillies?
Donna Dixon played the actress, but it wasn't her voice. But that's a whole other story.
Right. But, okay, but taking The Obsolete Man, a new society where there's only one way to go, and one belief system, one way.
The state has proven that there is no God.
You can't erase God with an edict. That's a great line.
It is.
It's almost as good as the Menace thing. But anyway, relating to current events, I'll let my friend Brian start off and say how he thinks it relates to maybe some stuff that's going on today, 2021, January.
Well,
The 16th?
Well, no. I think it's a good example of there's a lot of censorship. That's a big thing in topic of conversation as of late. You know, who has the right to voice their opinion? And it used to be that, you know, everyone had the right to voice their opinion, but now it's only like, well, if you don't agree with us, we're going to take away your ability to voice your opinion.
Do we know anybody who's doing that right now?
I think you hear a lot about it in the media these days, as a matter of fact. So it's not like we're talking about anything new here. We're talking about things that are making headlines.
The thing that questions me, or that I guess I don't understand, and I guess I understood it better on the episode, The Obsolete Man, because it was just straightforward. You don't agree with us, you're dying.
Right.
But here, why would somebody be censored just because they disagree with you? Or just because they have a different belief, or belief system, or philosophy, or something? Why would you say, we're not going to put you up on Facebook. We're not going to put you up on Twitter. We're not going to put you... Why would somebody do that?
As Serling said, logic is a menace.
Very good.
And what's the rest of it?
He's good, isn't he?
And
down here, say, Brian is smart.
Truth.
Not smarter than me, but he's smart.
Truth. What is it? Truth is a menace, and logic is...
Logic is the enemy. Truth is a menace.
Truth is a menace. Okay. Well, there you go.
So,
you
but-
can't use logic.
But why would they be doing that? Just to promote their own side, or to silence the side that's now there?
Anytime someone says the debate is over, I automatically think to myself, the debate's not over. You're just trying to end the conversation.
So what would any person out there that maybe sort of agrees with that, no matter what you say or how you say it, and even if I disagree 180% with you, I'm going to fight to the death to give you the right to say it. Don't you believe in that thing?
Right. Yes.
That,
exactly.
so what can anybody do in these crazy times? Because what did he do in The Obsolete Man? He died.
He died. Yeah. The state.
He sacrificed his life to show that one man, one librarian, was stronger than the state.
And one could even equate his actions to what we're doing right now, because he brought in a camera and he had it sitting right there in his living room while the whole thing was going on. We're putting ourselves in front of a camera right now talking about the same issue. But the state, we're not going to get liquidated at the end of this episode, though, thank God.
When you say something good, I lose it.
Really?
It's just because I don't expect it.
Then don't ever expect him to lose it then.
I just did. I'm like off track now, but that's good. It is
Yeah.
with the camera. When he said, Chancellor, what does he say?
Face the camera.
Face the camera.
Face the audience.
Face the audience. Because he says that to Wordsworth.
Where's the clock? I need the image of the clock, and
Ticking.
and Prince Weaver getting all, let me out.
And what does he say? He goes,
God Almighty.
God
let me
Almighty.
out.
Right. He admits that there's a God. And one of the things they said was, there is no God.
Yes, Chancellor. In the name of God, I will let you out.
See, folks, that's why he's here as a partner, because I'm just tagging along, because I need this book right here, which I did not write, to find out all that stuff, because I've seen him a million times, but I can't remember the lines, whereas my good friend here can't remember the line. But I guess what
I watch a lot of TV.
Me too. Trying to say or ask on this podcast or whatever, number one, we want to just get it out there and make you think or say, no matter what side you're on, winning side, losing side, whatever, to say, should there be that type of censorship? Should there be that type of thing? Should logic be the enemy? Should truth be a menace? I don't think so. And I think even if the side that's winning now,
right,
that has everything going for it, and I have to say this, I know you may not like it,
yeah,
but I have to say it, but the media is, as far as I'm concerned, all on one side. And it's almost amazing to me, and it brings right back to the Obsolete Man.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
The state has made this decision. This is what we say, and this is what you have to
Right.
believe.
And also, I know we mentioned the eye of the beholder, and we haven't got too much into that because we're kind of focusing on the Obsolete Man, but even in the eye of the beholder,
Yeah,
remember?
We need to get to that one. We need to get to that one because she's cute. I want to talk about that.
Donna Douglas.
Yeah.
What's her name in the show, though?
Donna Douglas, yes. I can't think of her.
Neither can I.
Name, no.
But the actress who gave the voice, and not that anybody cares, was from an actress in England.
Oh, quick sidebar. We saw the episode on the large screen about a year and a half ago, and it's very different because if you know the episode, everyone in the society has like pig faces. Well, when we saw it in the theater on the big screen, I could tell that the actors in the background did not have pig faces.
Really?
Yes, they were just normal actors, and it's like, oh, we weren't supposed to see that. Okay, but who knew 60 years ago they were going to have that on a large screen?
Was anybody that watches the Twilight Zone, or especially watches the marathons on July 4th and New Year's, a lot of the Twilight Zone, the episodes are cut to get a certain time, because right now, there's in a 30-minute show, there's 10 minutes of the show and 20 minutes of commercials, whatever. So they're cutting stuff out, and Brian was right about that. There is a scene there where they really don't have masks, but but in the eye of the beholder, again, it's sort of like the state, and everybody has to look the same. If you don't look the same, if you don't look, quote unquote, what do they call it? Normal,
yeah.
Whatever. Then they're going to ship you away
to a colony.
Where you can live with people of your own kind.
Exactly.
And we better watch it, because sometimes some of us may be shipped off to a colony sooner or later to live with people of our own kind or our own beliefs.
Well, as soon as we get to a certain age, we go to live in one of these colonies regardless anyway, because,
I mean, like my age.
Well, I was thinking more along like, your parents.
I got to get back there because they close at 6. I won't get in the door. I have to climb up the balcony, and I already fell off it once. It's terrible. But anyway, eye beholder in that, when they take off her, they have her all covered in, what is it, tape or mask, or like that. Because they're going to fix her face because it doesn't fit into society. Just like today, when some beliefs don't fit into society, or what the media tells us what society is. Mm-hmm. You should listen to the band Styx also. They have 2 great songs on that, which say, don't listen to what people tell you should be. Don't listen to what the media tells you. Don't listen to how you should live your life. Live your life how you want to live your life. But
I may have to re-educate you on this, because it sounds like...
Re-education is a whole nother episode. But in any event, going back to the eye of the beholder, they're taking off her things, and they're going to see if she's now like everybody else. Because you have to be like everybody else and think like everybody else to be in this society. And maybe that's the way this society is going in 2021.
Think like we do.
That's right. But when they take off her thing, what is she?
She's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous.
Fantastic. But in case you haven't seen it,
Ellie Mae from Beverly Hillbillies.
We don't see the faces of anyone in this entire episode.
Right.
You've probably seen it, but it's all done in shadows, and everybody. The only face you ever see is hers, and it's masked,
right.
So you don't see what's going on.
Right.
But the doctors and the nurses, they're all in the shadows talking
right.
amongst themselves.
Right, and until the point where she takes it off, and they say, "No change," and she drops the scalpel like this, and then they have to hold it back against the wall. And then the doctor turns around like this to the camera, like this or whatever. And you see he has, I guess, the pig face and all. And then you see that everybody has a pig face.
Right.
And what did Donna Douglas do? She gets upset and sees all this. She goes crazy and runs out. And what happens is a big screen all around. And it's, what do they call him in that show? In the Obsolete Man, it was the Chancellor.
Oh, the Chancellor.
In the Eye Beholder, it's the...
That I don't know. Write it in the comments section if you remember, because I don't know it.
But in any event, the one line I do remember, since you remember, is going, there must be glorious uniformity in society.
Yes.
No change, no differences.
That's the leader.
No different beliefs. Everyone the same.
That's the guy.
Everyone think the same.
The guy on the monitor when she's running out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the
and
leader.
He's saying that, and that's what it is, that you have to be that way. And to think that Rod Serling, and I guess Buck Houghton too, but not Buck Houghton certainly, and I forget exactly who wrote these 2 episodes, because I think Serling wrote like 2/3, and you guys can correct, and Houghton wrote about 1/3, and then there was another guy. But anyway, to think of those ideas back then, obviously in the 50s, 60s, whatever, same thing was probably going on, or is going on, that's going on now.
Right.
But I think, at least in my lifetime, which is long and whatever, this is pretty bad. This is Obsolete Man time. This is Eye of the Beholder. This is Chancellor time saying, well, you are obsolete, my friend.
Obsolete. Well,
you think differently than me.
Well,
you're gone.
Truth be told, I've been called that my whole life, so it's not really.
Oh, well, but
I'm more concerned about the fact that here we are in 2021, and
yes.
we're only a year away from the time of a great movie that we were talking about earlier called Soylent Green.
Soylent Green.
I'm just concerned. Next year, are we going to have to start adding that to our diet? Is that where we're headed?
Well, Brian, you might want to quickly educate them on, not that we re-educate, we don't do that, because we want you to have your own beliefs, your own thoughts, your own perspective or whatever, and take what you hear from us with a grain of salt. But
well, again,
Soylent Green is what?
I've already spoiled 2 Twilight Zone
I don't
episodes
care.
for these folks, so I shouldn't tell them.
Most of the people out there were going to give a you-know-what about Soylent Green.
Soylent Green is a future society where they have 2 problems. One is there's not enough food, and 2 is there's too many people. So the movie proceeds along pretty much as you'd expect, and at the very end we discover, I should say that they eat a product called Soylent Green. And at the end we discover that they have solved both problems by making one.
2 ducks with one something.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
They've killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
Oh, that ducks is another one.
Charlton Heston discovers the main ingredient in Soylent Green. Say it with me.
It's
people! So,
Which
yes.
is great. And they got Edward G. Robinson, don't they, in that movie?
You're right, yes.
I think he goes in and they hear the nice music he's playing. But anyway.
And that's 2022.
Is
so
it?
We're only a year away from that. By the way, to that fact.
You know what? What might happen is if you mesh Obsolete Man, Eye of the Beholder, and Soylent Green, maybe the people they're going to make into Soylent Green will be the people who are obsolete.
Yes,
Maybe
exactly.
the people who don't think like the media and all those bubblehead blondes like they say in like the Eagles guitarist says in his song, what's that song? Dirty Laundry.
Right.
You know, and they say it on that, and they say it. Let me just say this: it really bugs me that they almost seem like they're kids that they can actually spit out the words to be so deceptive and so one-sided or whatever, and then go home and have a family and raise kids, and it just blows my mind. And you think about the Obsolete Man, you go, oh, that's just science fiction. Not to me. Not to me, because the people who can do that are like
And aren't we even seeing
wrong.
Aren't we even seeing science itself evolving? Isn't it changing?
Science changes, mankind stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What's that from?
Well, we were just talking about that, Khan saying that earlier, but
Khan. Okay, right.
what else?
Yeah.
Science in general.
Yeah. Okay. Science
Science.
is.
No, what we were going to say, we were talking about, you had something to say earlier in the pre about famous scientists. And
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. What about famous scientists?
Well,
Are there any famous scientists? I don't know any. I know one, Michio Kaku. I think that's how you say his name. And he was on a Geico commercial where he says nothing is not zero, but zero could be nothing. And if you go to physics, theoretical physics, that's true.
Yeah.
Now that I've really bored you, on to Brian.
Even I think you were talking about Bill Nye, though. Weren't
Bill,
you?
right,
You
okay.
mentioned him in some.
Yeah, I kind of look like him a little.
No, he
except
does.
that he has hair and I. Okay.
Yes.
But what about Bill Nye?
Quick sidebar on Bill Nye's.
Hold it. Is Bill Nye on the obsolete side or he's on the?
Oh,
Or should I ask you?
I don't know.
Tell your story.
I
Tell
don't
your
know anything about that. No,
Okay.
I just wanted to say that a long time ago, I worked for a government agency that funded his program, and
Secretive government
yes,
agency.
a secret
I
government.
worked for it
agency.
too.
You didn't work there.
We worked together on that. One
No,
law
this was-
enforcement. No?
This was a different agency.
Okay, go ahead.
But no, so he came to our building once to show his appreciation, and he wanted to put on a show for the children of all the employees, and he needed props. And one of those props was he needed a pool cue. So this was 1995. I loaned Bill Nye the Science Guy my pool cue.
His pool cue.
My personal
This
pool
guy
cue.
is the hustler, Paul Newman.
I was a hustler, just like Fats, what's his name, in that famous Twilight Zone episode.
Big Fats, no.
Louisiana Fats, was that it?
No.
The point of the story is
Minnesota Fats.
26 years later, Bill Nye the Science Guy has still not returned my pool cue. And
So Bill
I
Nye,
want
if you're
it
watching
back.
this, turn on an episode of The Obsolete Man. Get Brian his pool cue.
You know you did it. I know you did it.
We do.
Send it to me.
We're gonna track you down.
Or a large check.
Or a large check. Or something like that. But anyway, just to wrap that up real quick, The Obsolete Man, Eye of the Beholder. Two great episodes.
Very relevant.
Which are, we believe, very relevant. And it almost makes me sad to think that they are relevant. And we live in such a time where censorship is okay. Where ideas are the enemy, truth is the menace. It's just sad to think. But me and Brian are going to stagger forward, right? And keep going.
And this being the new year, I've decided that I'm going to reinvigorate myself, much like they did in the Twilight Zone, having recently visited the Fountain of Youth. So I'm going to drink to a better 2021 than we had in 2020.
And I'm going to go with my friend Jason here from the episode of The Masks. And everybody knows what the masks are about today. So I'm just going to keep wearing my mask probably forever.
He should.
And end up like Jason Foster or whatever. But I can think of some other people who should end up like these people, right? Oh no, like the people in the Jason Foster movie. But good night from Jason. Good night from Bruce.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.